now. Let's cross to Mr. Wayne Duvenage from the organization Undoing Tax Abuse, and he joins us via our video link. Mr. Duvenage, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Of course, let's start off here. What is your take when it comes to the latest development coming out from that SCOPA and SIU briefing in Parliament, basically saying that the former Eskom CEO has been accused of misconduct?
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. We disagree with that statement. Quite frankly, I think it is his fiduciary duty. He is the accounting officer, and he has the right and the ability to introduce investigations that he believes need to take place. If he doesn't do that, he could be held liable for not exercising his oversight and doing such work. We know that government departments use private investigation firms. We've seen it often, and these investigations are sanctioned by and introduced by the executives of those departments without the approval of boards. It wasn't as if he was going over budget. There was no budget spent there. It was money that was granted to him, and maybe he didn't have to, or he felt he didn't need to involve the board because that might have jeopardized these investigations. So there's a lot of smoke here, and I think if this did go to court, if it really did, I don't think a court is going to find him guilty of maladministration as is claimed.
And of course, the SIU also they're saying that the use of a private company, but you have said that there have been various government departments that have used private companies for extensive investigations, but they're saying that, because of the use of a private company, this results in maladministration. Clearly, this is something that you also don't agree with.
No, not at all. We've seen, multi-million rand investigations being ordered by executives in many government departments. No board authority required, no maladministration. In fact, we believe some of those investigations should be made public because it is public, it is of interest to the public, and they don't allow that. So we're in court and have PIA applications on a number of these matters. But in this case, I think that report should be made public. It is information that's in our interest, certainly, to get to the bottom of corruption at Eskom. Has he really transgressed and conducted himself unlawfully? We don't believe so. It would be very interesting to see if they ever did bring these charges. I think they'd get egg on their face if they went to court.
And some would say that, de Ruyter was trying to root out some of the corruption which we have seen at the power utility, and perhaps maybe the approach here was wrong on his part, and maybe he should have involved the board here. What is your take on that? Because some would say that, well, at the end of the day, you also do account to the board.
Yeah, I think there's so much political dynamics in place, specifically at Eskom. There's so much that has happened with all the interference that's taken place over the years. I guess he could argue that, involving the board might have scuppered, might have sent communications through to the wrong people that he didn't want to alert because he had sufficient evidence or indicative evidence that might have implicated people, as he has said, in high places, and involving the board might have got in the way of that. So I think he could justify that. What really worries us here is that we're trying to shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Nobody is actually stepping back and saying, hold on, here's an individual who's trying to get to the bottom of corruption in Eskom and the sabotage that was taking place, doing what he felt was best as the CEO of this organization. And we want to castigate him instead of sitting down. I recall right from the beginning, it was a case of shooting him down instead of saying, hold on, this person may have valuable information that we need to get to the bottom of this. And if it means arresting cabinet members or senior people in government, then that's what we must do. But we don't hear that argument along the way. We hear he's wrong all the time. So, and if he is wrong, well, then he must answer to his questions. And maybe he should have done a few things differently. Of course, he might have made some mistakes along the way. But at the end of the day, I don't think that will fly in any court.
And it brings me to my next question, where some are even questioning what you've just mentioned, actually, saying that it seems as if this has just been turned around now, where we're trying to get to the bottom of the problems being faced at Eskom, and somebody who was trying to unearth some of those problems is now, the fingers are being pointed right back at him.
Yeah, he's the scapegoat. He's the individual that they're going to lay as much of the blame on. They're going to shine the torch on him as much as possible to take the heat off where we believe the heat should be focused, and that is what is in that report. We have heard that there were senior members, government members that appear to be implicated in this matter. Well, why don't we go deep into that intelligence that was gathered in that report and find out what was going on? We know that Eskom has been sabotaged. We know that Eskom has had significant corruption that's been taking place. And to shoot the messenger and to not really get down to the bottom of what the issues are and involve the public and inform us and gather the trust in the public on this matter seems to be the furthest thing from their minds. So, it's quite a farce, and it's sad that we have to go down these rabbit holes when in actual fact the real issues still need to be ventilated and investigated.
But it also seems as if the SIU, Wayne, says that they actually will, be using some of the findings from this report. When you look at the broader investigation, what is your expectations when it comes to using some of the information which was brought about by this private investigation and the work of the SIU?
Look, I mean, we really do like the work that the SIU does. So I'm not castigating the SIU in this matter. I just think they've got this wrong on de Ruyter. And we're glad that they're using that intelligence gathered from that report. We believe that if they do follow through with that and get the really professional forensics and investigators involved and work diligently, that information will come in hand, and maybe and hopefully they will be able to get to the culprits and gather enough evidence and have them charged and eventually arrested and put in jail. That's what we as the public want. So we're glad that they're using the report, that they say there's good information that's coming from that. Imagine if that report didn't take place. We might be 2-3 years down the line, and you know what happens with time? Evidence gets lost, and investigations are peter out. So it's glad that they're using it, and let's not, again, I keep saying this, but let's not shoot the messenger. Let's get as much out of this. And we just want to see, as the civil society and the public, we want to see accountability. And there's very little accountability that has happened over 15 years now with all the wrongdoing that's gone on at Eskom.
Wayne, thank you so much for your time here on the Late Edition. That is Wayne Duvenage from the Organising Undoing Tax Abuse, or Outa, just giving us his insights there when it comes to that investigation by the SIU and, of course, that meeting taking place yesterday in Parliament before SCOPA.